Welcome to the Action Coaching Club. Tonight's live coaching call is Q&A round robin. And let me see, it's June the 2nd, so nice to have you here tonight, and glad to be here with you, just strolling back in from being caught in the traffic. So I made it just in time to be with you guys here tonight. So tonight, as I said, we're going to have a round robin coaching call. We'll do it a little bit differently. Before we go into the round robin, I'm going to do what I'm referring to as the mailbag, which is I'm just going to check in on the questions that came in over the last little while and try to answer those for the folks who can't make the call live, but who had submitted their questions in. And if I happen to be reading your question and you're on the call, then by all means raise your hand. Actually, raising your hand doesn't always 100% work. Like if you're on Skype or a cell phone, sometimes the digits get dropped. So if I'm reading your question and you want me to open your line, just go ahead and type something in the GoToWebinar control panel and tell me, type in the area code that you're calling from and the location, and that way I'll be able to see you on my control panel. Okie doke, so I'm going to be behind the scenes here looking at my mailbag, going through. This is the first time I'm looking at these, by the way, so we'll go through them together. And Arturo, actually you've got a couple of things, Arturo, so I'm going to read the first one, then I'm going to copy and paste the second one. It says, don't have anything to report yet, but I want to let you know that I'm starting to work on what we talked about, and I already have the action plan extracted from coaching. I'll be sending it to you soon with some dates to get things done. It's a huge action plan, so I'll probably have quite a bit to report during the next several weeks. Okay, and that was actually a week or so ago, so we got something newer than that from Arturo. Let's go find that one. Here we go. Oh, this is looking like you've been working hard. Let me put that up on the screen for everybody to look at, and we'll read it together. So just starting to report some progress. Here are some sketches of what I need to accomplish based on your suggestions during our laser coaching. Number 1, list building. Number 2, new prospects autoresponder. Number 3, free trial autoresponder. Number 4, PPC ads. Number 5, one-on-one calls. Number 6, trial landing page contents. Okay, it looks like a good step-by-step. During this week, I'm going to be working on the following. I'm going to be fleshing out my avatar a bit more. I need to further subdivide my avatar from bar club owner and bar club manager or operator, as they have different personalities, internal conversations, and needs. Okay, good. Completing the report on the 15 ways servers and bartenders making bars lose money every single day. Okay, great. And I also want to get work done on my authority site, as I want to publish it ASAP. We have everything but our product pages completed except for some minor details. I'll work on these details during the week and start getting ready to put together version 1 of the product pages so that we can publish the site. Later, I'll worry about improving the pages based on everything I'm learning here. Great, I love that. Go with what you got and improve based on feedback. Fantastic. All right, well, Arturo, congratulations. So first of all, thank you, Arturo, for following up as promised. I love it when people keep their words, and especially in terms of the coaching contest. You told me you had actions you were going to complete, and you promised to follow up, and you did. So thank you. I acknowledge you for that. And it looks like you have a pretty good plan here and a nice step-by-step approach. And I do recommend you take a look at the checklist. There's some things along the way in the checklist that will help you, kind of work through the implementation of these if you need it. And I'm looking forward to seeing your pages up. And when you have your opt-in page up and ready to go, let's have a look at it. And I'm sure it'll be great. And we'll give you a little feedback. And, I'd like to hear all the good news about how well it's converting for you tonight. So thank you. Fantastic, Artur. And if you are on the call and you want to add anything to that conversation or get some more feedback or something, by all means, raise your hand and I'll open your line. Okay, I'm not seeing you there yet. So very good. So great progress, Arturo. That's excellent. I love it when people get busy building their business. Excellent. as White Woodsmall would say, excellent. Okay, and we have a whole bunch of strategy session requests, which we're not doing any strategy calls tonight. So we'll hold those till the next strategy session. And so the next question is from Pam. And I'll just bring your note here, and it says, whoops. Hi Lou. Hi Pam. I'm reviewing the checklist PDF, the welcome video in PDF, and I'm writing to you from Sicily, where I'm currently visiting my daughter. Hey Pam, your last name isn't Italian. Are you Italian or? Anyway, that's kind of fascinating. Sicily. Buongiorno, buonasera, come va Pamela? Tanti auguri che ti trovo in Italia. All right, because your calls will be around 2 a.m. here, I'll be working through the material primarily as recordings. Very good. I'm a little confused about the order in which to review the training type videos. There are files I can't find, like 3 major niches with 29 subs. I'll keep working through the material already on the site. Okay, so the training is not in as much a specific order as the checklist is. And so what I would encourage you to do is follow the checklist, and then depending on where you are in the checklist and what you're implementing, that will be the thing that you use to decide what training to do next. All right, so here's the checklist. You're going to download it. And let me just move it into the window here, into the edit window. And so for me, the way I set this up, whoops, where'd it go? The way I set this up is really with the intention for you to go through and follow this in pretty much stepwise, step-by-step process. So first, you check to make sure that you have a viable market. Then you test to see if you can reach the market and bring them to your website. Then you see if you can make an offer to the website, to people who visit your website, so that you can prove that you have a good, that you know the market, that you have an offer, and you can actually get them to get something for you from free. Then you take those people who are on your list for free and see if you can get them to buy stuff, proving that you know what they want and you have a good offer. And then you get them, you expand your product line, you increase your long-term customer value. You create more products, you create more expensive products, and you deliver more. And then you might get others to market and sell your products. So you're not, you're taking the products that are doing well, and then you're getting others to do it. And then, of course, hopefully, as you've been building systems going through this checklist, then you go ahead and expand. You scale the process. And usually, scaling means you start buying traffic so that you can drive more and more people to a conversion system that is proven to work. So if you go through that, then what you'll find is that each of the steps fundamentally are organized so that, for example, when we talk about making sure that the market is viable, you're going to be doing step 1, step 2, step 3, step 1 and step 2 is about the market, right? And this is kind of a step-by-step process of what you need to do. And if you have any trouble figuring out, like, how do you design a powerful name and title, you just click on that, and you look through the checklist that shows you how to do that. Okay, so I really encourage you to use this as your roadmap. It was we spent a lot of time going through and culling out the best advice from Eben's trainings, as well as, I sort of put my whatever I could in terms of skills, experience, and process and steps that I use to make this pretty much your action guide, your checklist step by step. So then what I would do is I would say, okay, well, it says here, put a simple list building mini site or blog online. Well, how do I do that? Okay, so I could certainly go here and take a look at the checklist, but but this is the point that I would now go to the training and see if there was anything in the training about blogs. Okay, and I just, so Facebook advertising, no. Productivity, no. Article marketing, no. Research, oh, look at that, niche research. Okay, so I could have used that in step 1. Create content, not yet. Web wagon wheel, okay, so I'm seeing here blogs, opt-in, sales letters. Okay, so I would say that's one I need to watch now. And then, let me see, is there anything else? Conversions and sales. Okay, nuts and bolts of blogs. All right, so there's another one that I'd want to watch. And keywords and SEO. I would have probably watched this when I was doing step 1, and so on, right? So that's kind of the approach I'm taking in terms of delivering content. I'm going to try to go back and stick a little bit more closely to to the checklist as well in terms of the training that I deliver to you. We initially were going to take some of the training from the other programs and put them into the members area, so I kind of skipped a few steps, but now I'm sort of going back and going to go over some of the steps as best I can. So it'll be a combination of my training plus some training that we'll bring in from some of the other courses. And excuse me, and that's the best way that I would think or recommend for you to go through this process. Okay, so start with the checklist, follow it step by step, and then when you're implementing any particular step, see if there's a training in the members area. That is probably better, because otherwise what you'll do is you'll go through all of the training and then try to figure out where it works, and that's actually the opposite of what we intended for you to do. Okay, so give that a shot and let us know how it works. All right, let's see what our next question is. Leanne. Okay, let's see. So I'm new to the Action Coaching Program. Hello, Leanne. Welcome. I wanted to quickly introduce myself and ask you a question for tonight's call. So once again, Leanne, if you're on the call, you can press star 2 to raise your hand and put a comment in the GoToWebinar control panel. And if I see you there, I'll open your line if you want to talk live. I'm in the process of defining my niche. In a nutshell, I'm going to help women train for the first half marathon. And my question relates to a recent major win being profiled in Runner's World magazine. This is great exposure for me as a Runner's World, the publication for our industry. My question is how to leverage. Since I'm so early in the AC program, I don't have updated web presence. I do have a blog from last year where I chronicle training for my first marathon. I randomly picked up a few subscribers, even though I haven't posted anything new. I'm wondering if I should do a short post, something like I'm cooking up something new for everyone and reveal it soon. But in the meantime, I've signed up for the Runner's World Challenge. Check out the profile they've done of me with a link to the story. Okay, and here's something else to know about me. I'm highly motivated to succeed in this program. I like that. Now, when I say I'm highly motivated, I'm not just using a term of art. I'm saying I've already given notice at my job. Oh, you are motivated. I love that. Granted, I gave 5 months notice instead of the traditional 2 weeks. Very smart, because I really want to make a change in my life. I've owned my own business before, and my entrepreneurial spirit has been kicking in again. I'm very excited about the Action Coaching Program, as I think it'll help me get where I need to go a lot more quickly than I could on my own. And I plan on working hard to get there. So in a nutshell, I want to be one of your superstars, Lou. Yes! Now, Leanne, I'm really happy that you're here. And one of the people you referred to show how things can be done and how to successfully follow Eben's model. Great. Well, you know what? You might also want to book yourself in for a case study interview then, Leanne. Let's say in 5 months from now. Oh, there, I see your hand up. Okay. Hey, Leanne, welcome.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. What a great email.
I didn't know you were going to read my whole rambling on there.
Oh, yeah. This is always a surprise for people when they see that. Hey, that mailbag is public. Yeah, and this is actually, it's the first time I see it too, so, I didn't want to read in the background because it was a little bit long, and then you guys would be hearing me talking and not seeing anything. But I love it. What a great letter, and it looks like you've got lots of stuff to build on, and you obviously are already an accomplished runner. And I'm really happy that you're not just kind of dumping your job cold turkey, because I always recommend to people this thing that I call it wing walking. When people are wing walking, they're on the biplanes and they're walking from one end of the wing to the other as the plane is in the air. And
right.
The number one rule there is don't let go of the strut behind you until you've got a firm hold of the strut in front of you. Right. And
right.
So I think you're doing great. You're doing great there.
I've done it the other way before, so.
It's a little painful sometimes, right?
Yes.
Good. So you're doing all the right things. So first of all, congratulations on your being profiled in Runner's World. Let's actually have a look and see if we can see you here. By the way, notice how they pop up that opt-in box, you guys? The lesson to be learned.
Yeah.
There's Leanne.
Yeah, there I am.
Hand in the air. Good job. Okay, were you actually in the physical magazine as well, or just online magazine?
Just online,
Okay.
But my goal is, part of the reason I signed up for the challenge, besides certain things, was in the hopes of getting into the print version when they do the story on the race that I'm doing in September.
Okay. Okay, that's great. So really, the thing, how to leverage this, I think you probably have an idea that this is going to be great in terms of public relations if you want to use it that way. It's going to be great in terms of creating authority for yourself. Are you able to reproduce this article on your site? Do you have permission to do that?
I can do a link, yeah.
Yeah, a link would be great, and it might also be good to be able to actually embed this into your site if you can't. But a link would be great otherwise, and the link could be something where you sort of replicate this and then do the first paragraph or two, and then click here to learn more or something. But if there's any way that they'd give you permission to reproduce this on your site, it would be even better. But of course, I think what they want is the link in as well. But hey, you can always ask.
Sure.
Because I'll tell you why. Because if you can put it on your site, then you can drive traffic to your site. If,
right.
You don't want to do any kind of advertising and PR and stuff like that and drive people to this site. I mean, they're probably getting a fair bit of their own. Ideally, you'd like to have this someplace where you can put it on your site, and then people come to visit. And maybe offer them an opt-in and have them join your list. So that would be the ultimate way to leverage this, is to be able to get it someplace where people will come, they'll want to read the article, they want to learn about you, and then they go, hey, I'd like to get on her list so I could get some tips on how she did it, and so I could do it myself. Okay. Short of that, the link would probably be the next best thing, where you can put it in the About Us or write a blog post yourself, and then when you put a link to it, make sure you open it in another window. So that you don't lose the traffic. So people will go and they will come here to read this article, but when they're done and they close the tab, they're back on your site again. And then, again, wherever possible, the trick here is then say, hey, if you want to know how I did this, join my list, because that's what I'm helping people to do. Okay, and then really you want to just kind of be a little name dropper, whenever people are interviewing you or whenever you're writing a blog, like try to find a reason to drop it into the conversation casually, as you're writing your blog posts or as you're doing videos or blog posts or Facebook posts or whatever, spread the word. Now, here's what I would say. It sounds to me like you're just starting out, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you're not going to get a lot of mileage out of this just yet. So if you were to post this on Facebook right now, probably not a lot of people would see it. If you post it on Twitter, probably not a lot. You probably don't have a lot of followers, I'm assuming, right?
I'm not even on Twitter. That's how new I am.
Okay, yeah, exactly, right? And probably your blog, you're just getting started, so there's probably not a lot of traffic to your blog yet too, right?
Right.
Okay, so my preference, other than you could always send a press release about this, but if you send a press release, then you want the press release to drive people back again to your blog, ideally, where they can read about you and the article and join your list and everything. But I think what I might want to do actually is I might put this in my back pocket for a little bit, and wait until I build a little bit more of a list, a little bit more of a following, and I might use it to build the list. But then once I have a list, then I'm going to really promote it. I'm going to send everybody to go read the article so I can get traffic, I can get opt-ins and so on. So I'm going to do double duty with it. Number one, when I'm trying to get people to opt in, I'm going to sort of casually make reference to it so as a way to create authority and as a way to show, create social proof, and as a way to get people to sign up. But then also, once my list is 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, I might try to do a little bit of PR, put it on my Facebook, put it on my Twitter, and wherever I have an audience, then they may not have seen this yet. Then I'm going to put it out there and drive some traffic and ask people to spread the word. Because then if you've got 1,000, 2,000 people going over, again, if you can embed it, all the better, because then they're going to like your Facebook post or they're going to share your blog post, and then you're going to get more traffic to your own websites where you can build even more of a base. So you can use it now to build a base, but I would say put it in your back pocket and work hard to build a list, and then and build a following, and then when you've got a little bit more momentum there, come back to this and have people read it, share it, and spread the word.
Got it.
Okay, and same thing, press release though you can run anytime. Press release, you can actually use that as a way to build your list. But again, the press release, you want it to come to your property, i.e. your blog, not to not to, what is this again? Runner's World.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense.
And
Thank
that's a
you.
great pick. I mean, that you could even put that pick in the press release, and find an interesting angle about this. Like, is there something really cool about your story that might be interesting for a press release? Like, did you overcome any obstacles, or were there particular challenges that you faced that were kind of unique, or that people often face and wonder how to themselves?
One was running a marathon within the first within 16 months of running my first 2 miles. So most people don't ramp up that quickly.
Mm.
And
What were you doing before then?
I was on the elliptical, kind of fake exercising.
Okay, see, it would have been a better story if you would have said, middle-aged mom, recovers from depression and does the marathon in 16 months, kind of thing, right?
Right.
Yeah, but anyway, find something interesting and novel, and see what, dig in and see what your story is, and then tell your story in a way that the press release becomes interesting and people are going to want to syndicate it and publish it on their sites.
Okay.
Find out what your inspiration or what your reward was in all of this, and see if you can connect with the person that you want to help. And is there something about the person you want to help that they're experiencing a particular frustration or a particular challenge, that if they found out that you were experiencing the same one and overcame it, that it would be interesting for them to know you?
I'd have to think through exactly what that would be. But
Okay.
I mean, personally, I think one of the bigger things is I've never been an athletic person, and so my target is kind of the people who don't think of themselves as even being able to run a marathon, for example.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it was a giant leap for me to even think that was possible, because I would have never even run in public before.
Oh, okay. Well, that's an interesting angle, right?
Yeah.
Tell me something. Those people who never thought that they'd be able to run a marathon, are they actually even interested in running a marathon?
Yeah, there's a lot of them who are.
Okay.
It's definitely gotten on the bucket list for a lot of people, and half marathons are the fastest growing race in the country.
Okay. So there's one, where you can talk about, like, this thing about never considered herself a runner. That's kind of an interesting angle, right? Because I'm sure a lot of people don't consider themselves a runner. And so maybe you can build on that a little bit. And the headline might be something like, never so much as set foot in a pair of running shoes. Leanne Webster runs the half marathon in only 16 months, kind of thing.
Right.
Something
Okay.
like that. Something interesting, because you got to remember, people are looking for something novel and new and whatever to put on their own websites, and that's the goal behind the PR thing, is that you want them to publish your story on their sites. So write a
Right.
really cool and interesting story for them, and then point back to your website for people who want to learn more about how you did it, and then maybe do a little video for them behind the opt-in that tells your story and shows them, the top 3 things you need to do right now to get on the road to your first half marathon or whatever.
Got it. Okay.
Okay?
Cool.
Beautiful. And
Thank
welcome
you.
again. Nice to have you here with us.
Thanks.
This is going to be a good story. So you guys heard it here. Leanne is going to be our next case study in about 5 months. Okay? So it's out in the universe, Leanne. We're watching. I love that. Nothing like putting accountability out there. Okay. Where are we next? Let me see. Okay, so initially I thought this name was Gary, but it looks like it's Gry. Okay, so I need your help in the Action Club. I have a company that I've been building for the last 3 years. So Gry, if you're on the line, go ahead and raise your hand with *2, or type something in the GoToWebinar questions box, and if I see you there, I'll open your line. So let's see what this says. I have a company that I've been building for the last 3 years. I've taken Evan's courses to accelerate my growth. Ellen, my coach, says that this is the Action Club. There we go. However, I do feel that most videos I've seen are too basic. I must tell you that I already have taken Jeff Walker's PLF, Maria Forleo, Laura Reuter's B-School, And however, like Ellen, I said, now I have to do the Eben way all the way. I love that. Way to go, Ellen. And start verifying that everything, my site, my blog, my opt-in is the Eben way. However, starting from the top of the action list, beginning at steps 1, 2, 3, what videos are there to support this section? For example, identify the top 10 positive and negative. What video to watch? Can you please guide me to the right information? Because I feel I'm drowning in videos but not finding the right one. Okay, so Grai, I would say the same thing that I mentioned earlier to, gosh, I forgot who it was there, but you know, the same thing that I would repeat here is take a look at the checklist and use the checklist to drive you to the training area. Now, you're not going to find video training in there yet for everything that's in the checklist. And so if you are part of the Guru Mastermind or the Guru Blueprint, or if you have any other programs from Eben, you will find that a lot of this stuff is very common. In other words, if you get 4 or 5 of Eben's programs, you're going to see a common thread, and that common thread is going to look like this checklist. And so what I would probably do is then I would go back to all my programs and look specifically in the description, so that if I see something about let me click here, market research checklist, okay? So the 15-minute interviews, so there's 2 or 3 trainings that Eben has done in other courses. Now, I will admit it would have been nice to have all of those in this program, but for a number of reasons right now, we're not able to do that yet. So what I would say is, if you don't find the video in the training area and you don't have it in one of the other programs, then that would be a great thing to ask about, and then I could sort of give you a quick 10 or 15 minute, or however long we have, tutorial in real time about how to implement it. Okay, and we can do that on the live calls here on the Action Coaching Club. So we're probably working our way towards having it set up so that anything that you see in here eventually is going to point to a video. But at the moment, because those videos are part of other courses, we're just looking at ways to bring them into the Action Coaching Club. And we're only doing 1 new training a week or so. And so I would be very happy to bring trainings in based on your needs and not necessarily have to follow the checklist. So it will help me if you tell me, hey, I'm implementing the coaching for market research, and I'm looking at this that says 15-minute interviews on this. How would I do that? I don't see any training yet, and and then I can just kind of summarize that for you, and that'll get you going. And so that'll be another way to bring the training in through the coaching calls, and that way you don't have to wait until I get all the way down to page 10 to answer your question. I'll jump straight to the tutorial and help you. Okay, so in summary, follow the Action Coaching Club checklist. And when you come to an action item or a step that you're unfamiliar with, check the training area for training on that in the ACC. If you don't see it there, look through any other program that you have that Eben does, because this is a compilation of all this best stuff from those programs, and it may be in one of those trainings. And if you don't see it there, then just ask me, and I'll do my best to give you a quick start tutorial on one of our coaching calls. All right, and that's what I would strongly urge and recommend that you do. By the way, one thing I do want to say to you, and this is, every once in a while we have some new folks joining the club, so I just want to do it for everyone's benefit too. And what Ellen is saying, and I'm really glad that she's reinforcing this, is that the reason we recommend you do this sort of quote unquote the Eben way is for this reason. Okay, Jeff does things in a particular way, and it really works, right? Maria and Laura do things in a particular way and for a particular audience, and for their audience it really works. Frank Kern does things in a particular way, and for his audience it also really works, and so on and so forth. You get the idea. But here's the secret. Even though each of these things can work individually, they can actually conflict and compete when you try to put them together. So it's a little bit like, if you can imagine, I had a Ferrari, I had a Lamborghini, and I had an airplane. Each of them does their job perfectly well and with high power and efficiency. But if I try to put the wheel of a Lamborghini on an airplane, not going to work, right? I could have a major disaster. And there's no way that I'm going to take the fuel from an airplane and put it in the Ferrari. right? So all of these systems work, but they're designed to work as a whole. And and when you learn from a lot of people, although, and I'm a lifelong learner too, so I really understand that desire. I have it myself. But I want you to think about, you can learn from other people, but what we're recommending is that you implement by following one person. And the greatest advice that I ever got from one of my coaches, Armin Morin was one of my coaches for a number of years, you know, like 3, 4 years ago. And the greatest advice I got from him was follow one guru and implement one system and take a year to master it. So one guru, one system, 1 year was the mantra that he gave me. And what he meant to say was, he wasn't saying stop learning from everybody, but he was saying focus your implementation from one person's system, because then everything makes sense, right? Then all the pieces fit together, and if you need a question answered, you can go to that person whose system it is and say, you know, I'm trying to fit these pieces together. How do I do it? And you'll get an answer because it makes sense. Whereas, and also you're likely to find that the answer you want is there, because you know, if you for example, just to follow that metaphor, if you wanted to find out how to put an airplane wheel on a Ferrari, well, the person who created the airplane couldn't tell you, and the person who created the Ferrari couldn't tell you. So what do? You're stuck. And so this is why a lot of us are experiencing frustration and overwhelm, because we got all these pieces and we can't quite fit them together because they don't work, and nobody knows how to help us do that. Okay, so that's the power of one guru, one system, 1 year. And so I really want to congratulate Ellen for suggesting that to you, and I really want to reinforce it with you, and want to say this. You are in great hands, right? Because personally, I'm a big fan of Eben's stuff. I don't think there's anybody out there who's doing as good a job of taking what he has in his head and the things that he does in his business and integrate it and put it into his training in every way and at every level. So you're in good hands, and I totally support you to continue with Ellen's coaching advice and to focus on, you know, mastering this system, because clearly it works, right? I mean, it's created tens of millions of dollars for Eben, and not to say that it's necessarily going to happen that way for you, but hey, what better system to use than one that's been proven? Okay, so if you can bring yourself to do that, I think you're going to be in great shape. And you have Ellen to help you. You have the training videos. You have a lot of great products you can invest in, and you've got this great environment here to help you focus on getting things done and implementing, you know, helping you get some questions answered so you can keep your momentum going. And we're all sort of the same community. We're all reading the same stuff. We're all on the same page, so we can help each other a lot. So thumbs up. You're doing a great job, and keep coming back and asking questions. Okay? Beautiful. And of course I was speaking to Gry, but I'm also speaking to everyone else who's listening now. Okay, what's another question we have here? Strategy coaching. Ulrika. Can't be on the call, so she's got a question. Let's take a look at Ulrika's question. I want to make a special promotion to my list. As the price will be different, how do I best set up my pages? Clone my sales mini site and make modifications where needed, or... Well, let me see. Let me think about this. You know, I think I might do something different. I might do what you're thinking of, which is clone the mini site. In fact, actually, you don't have to clone the entire mini site. You only really have to clone the sales page or the page that has the order on it, right? And the reason I recommend this is because you know, you can actually use the existing mini site and say, well, you can, you know, click here and you can see that I sell this product at the regular price, you know, every day for $97. So, you know, here you get it for $47. So yeah, I think I would excuse me, I would clone the front end of my sales mini site. The back end, like the order page, or not the order page, the thank you page, the download page, the follow-up, all of that can be the same. But the only thing that you're making different is the sales letter or the offer, and so you could put that on its own site, and I recommend you do that. It's the easiest way to do it without having to maintain a whole lot of other things. So yeah, I think you're on the right track. Go ahead and clone the front pages of your sales mini site. Anything that has a description of the product and the price, the new price on it, you'll clone, and everything else you can feed into your regular backend and delivery system, right? Because you don't want to have to recreate the delivery, recreate the download page, upload, create another digital delivery area. All that stuff is the same. The only thing that needs to change is the front end. Okay, so yeah, I think you're on the right track there. Okay. Jonathan, that's a strategy coaching request. Okay, all right. Oops, here we go. Here's one. Problem with PayPal. Okay, let me extract the part from the email that relates to the question. Okay, this is from Elliot, so I don't know if you're on the call, Elliot, but let me just paste this into the view so everybody can see this. It's actually the first time I'm seeing the question too, so bear with me. So when our customer pays via PayPal, they are redirected to our download page where they can download their book. However, I found out today that PayPal only automatically redirects the customers who pay with PayPal and not the ones who pay with credit card. I don't believe that's true. Okay, unless they pay with a credit card through a system other than PayPal, right? So if you're using Authorize.net or 2Checkout or ClickBank to process the credit card, then of course it never goes through the PayPal system, so they don't even know the transaction is there and therefore can't redirect. However, if PayPal also processes credit cards, so that if somebody clicks on the link and goes to a PayPal page and pays with a credit card on the PayPal page, then PayPal will also redirect the customer to the download page properly. So let me just, so maybe I may have jumped the gun here, but let's just see. So the ones who pay via credit card get a manual link back to our download page. However, if they miss the link, they miss the download. This explains why about 20% are emailing to say they haven't received their download link. I need to automate sending the customers a second download link via email at present in case they miss it. PayPal has suggested various vague things to sort this problem out, but I need a concrete, definite solution. Okay, so this is not my experience. And I routinely take orders through PayPal for credit cards and for PayPal through PayPal accounts. And this is not happening on my PayPal account. So without knowing, the specifics of your PayPal account, or if you have a particular configuration, or you're using a particular service, because they have a number of different services, right? They have the PayFlow, they have the Express Checkout, they have the Web Payments Pro. They've got a whole bunch of different things. So if you're using maybe Web Payments Pro, it might be a little bit different. I'm just using the standard, Web Payments business account, and what you're describing doesn't happen for me. So what I would appreciate, Elliot, is if you could, what's really helpful, in fact, is if you could give me a link to either to one of your order pages, and I can just kind of walk through it, and just create a 1 cent transaction or a 5 cent transaction, and then I'll walk through and I'll see if I can figure it out, and also follow up with me and tell me what service, which PayPal service you're using, Web Payments Pro, Express Checkout, Standard Payments, etc., and then see if I can figure it out from there. Although I'm guessing if PayPal can't help you figure it out, I don't know. Maybe I might be able to help you, but I don't know. And actually, if possible, another thing that's really great is if you, instead of doing all that, what you could do is go to, if you're not already, use Jing. So if you Google for Jing, okay, and so the URL is techsmith.com/Jing. Okay, download Jing. It's free. It sits on your desktop and it records your screen and then allows you to upload a copy to screencast.com. Okay, so what I would recommend is you get a free screencast.com account. Okay, free account gives you 2 gigabytes of storage, and then what you could do is you could record your screen for free using Jing, and then upload it to Screencast and send me the link so that I can see you you processing the order with a credit card, and let me see the difference between what happens when you use a PayPal link and a credit card. Then that way, you know, sometimes people ask me to do things, I do it, and I can't reproduce the exact situation. But if you do it and you can reproduce it, then as I'm watching what's happening, might be able to give you a little bit better perspective. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to have to just say, you know, what you're describing doesn't happen on my account, and so I really don't have any concrete solutions for you. But I'd love to, you know, dig into it a little bit deeper. So if you either send me a link to a purchase order page, or better still, do a screen recording and send me a link to the screen recording, I'll be happy to take another look at it at that point. Okay. All right. Thank you. And sorry I couldn't be a little bit more help there. Okay, strategy coaching, lots of strategy coaching requests. Well, okay, Jonathan says, okay, let me bring this email into your view. Jonathan from Cambridge says, my programmer kindly implemented a beautiful system for scrolling between pages like a simulated Torah scroll. However, these are actually all resident on the same page and accessible using bookmarks rather than independent URLs. I'm wondering whether this is okay for SEO as he claims, and I just adjust the title and the headers for SEO, or whether I need independent URLs for each page. Is the ability to bookmark the page sufficient with a hash mark, or do I need a regular URL? I really like the theme, so I'm wondering how to balance the beauty and ease. So look here, my sense of this, Jonathan, is that I remember the page you were talking about, and in fact, what was it? It was Hebrew Bible in Hebrew, right? Oh, here, it's in my list here. There it is. Oh, it's a .org. Okay, it's interesting. First question I would have is, why is that not a .com? Highly recommend you get the .com if you can. And if you can't, someone else has the .com. I wouldn't compete with the .com, with the .org as my main domain, only as an SEO generator, but not as my main authority site. Okay, my internet seems a little slow here tonight. Let's try this again. Okay, so I want to bring this up, there we go, so that everybody can see. So here's what Jonathan's talking about. So this is a beautiful looking, you know, scroll, right? And here's my take on this, is that if you like the visual of this, Jonathan, I don't think that your SEO is going to suffer too much. And the simple reason is because, you know, I could imagine, unless each one of these pages is SEO optimized for a different keyword, then you're probably not doing a lot of damage to your SEO, right? If you could imagine that this could appear on one big long sales page, because you're talking about the same thing, right? Here you're saying you're looking for a Jewish community connected mentors, then you're going on to describing the problem and the solution, and well, this is probably not an SEO, not important for SEO, the development team, because it's not related to the keywords. But you're probably going to be okay. The only thing is, you know, ideally I'd like to see the development team and the contact us on separate pages. But the first three pages, the challenge, the problem, and solution, is all about the same thing. And so from an SEO perspective, it's the same silo. And the hash mark just basically means that instead of separate pages, the content is all on one page. But since the content is so closely related, so relevant to the other pages, I think you're going to be fine. I wouldn't worry about this. If you like the look and feel, I really, given the fact that it's all about the same theme, the same keywords thematically, and they're related directly and they're related sort of laterally, I think you're going to be fine. It'll work out just great. Now, if you were going to do your whole site like this, I would have concerns. But for this, you know, to take people through these nice 4 or 5 steps and to have the visual imagery that you have, I think it's fine. I don't imagine you're going to suffer at all in terms of the SEO. So go for it. Okay, let's see what else we have here. As you can see, we have a lot of stuff here. Wow, look at all these strategy coaching requests. I guess we're going to have to do another strategy coaching request. Another strategy coaching call. Okay. Okay, that one we answered. That one we answered. So Jonathan, I'm noticing here you've got like a number of strategy coaching requests and questions and stuff, and they're really dealing with a lot of, detailed SEO implementation strategy. And I would say two things. We'll get into these in a little bit more detail in one of the strategy coaching calls, but I would say that my experience of the amount of detail that you're focused on is that the experience I'm having of it is that it's too much focus right now on this kind of stuff that isn't necessarily going to pay off in the short term. And so I want to really encourage you that as you're doing this, and by the way, I think it's great that you're going to be an SEO master in no time, and we'll have you teaching a class here, I'm sure of it. And at the same time, I'd like for you to make sure that you're putting stuff online and driving traffic and trying stuff out live, and tracking the results rather than trying to anticipate all of the things that you need to do in advance. Because you might end up building a list kind of by accident, and even though it's not necessarily SEO optimized to the hilt, it's still going to be traction, and I'd like to see you get some traction. So as you're doing all of this background work to learn how to optimize your site and everything, then just want to encourage you to keep moving the checklist along, and don't worry if it's not perfectly SEO optimized right now, because over time, as you continue to add content and you continue to add backlinks, you'll get better and better at SEO, and you'll learn, maybe you may discover a whole new set of keywords that are going to support you even better than the ones you're looking at now. And the best way that I know to do that is to be engaged in the marketplace, even more than just using the tools to do research. So just really want to encourage you to do that, okay? Okay, let's see what else here. I think we're going to have to do two strategy coaching calls next week, judging by all these. Okay, now another question. So the other question here is from Jonathan, and he says, I'm applying the learning styles taught by Evan in his first video on frameworks. I believe that I understand the why, what, and how, but not the what if. I asked people in my mastermind group that suggested that I ask you for clarification. Well, your mastermind guys are smart. Here's an example of the two sides I wrote up based on the framework. Okay, so I'm not going to go through all that detail, but let me just focus on the question that you're asking, which is, what is this what if thing all about? And if you're listening to this and you're wondering what I'm referring to here in terms of the framework, there's a thing called the 4 learning styles model, and it was originally created by David Kolb, and then Wyatt adapted it, and then Evan adapted it, and people, the model itself, the real model, is fairly academic, fairly intellectual, fairly sophisticated, and of course it's not necessarily accessible to the masses. And so to make it accessible to the masses, people kind of distilled it down into this following statement, that there are basically 4 learning styles that most of us experience. Some of us are why learners, some of us are what learners, some of us are how learners, and some of us are what if learners. And that if you follow this structure in terms of creating content, and you first in your content first answers the question why you should listen to me, why this is important for you to know, why you should sit here and pay attention, then you're going to appeal to the why learner, and they're going to stick around and listen to the rest. But if you jump straight into the how, you're going to lose the why and the whats, because until you establish why and the what, they're not going to be interested in the how. But conversely, the how is willing to sit through the why and the what, although not forever. You've got to get to the how. But so you really want to open it up, and this translates oftentimes to saying something like, if you're on an opt-in page, tell them why they should opt in. And you might say something like, if you're having a really hard time losing that 5, 10, 15 pounds that's so essential to your health and well-being, watch the rest of this video, because in just 2 minutes I'm going to share the #1 tip that can turn on your fat burning internal engine so you can eat more and more and actually lose more and more weight more healthfully and more quickly than you ever thought possible. Right? So now you've addressed the why. And the why learners and most of us want to know what's in it for us, right? So the why learners are now hooked and they're listening. Now the what learners want to know, what is this thing? What does it do? How did it come to be? What's the history? What's the science? What's the model? What is this thing, right? They don't really care about how it's done. They just want to know what it does. So at this point, what it is or what it does becomes, for example, in the example that I'm making up here on the fly, you might say, so you're probably asking yourself, what is this secret system that works so well? Well, it turns out that it's actually a series of two things. If you go back in history, scientists have always known that there's a gene that we all possess, that if you could just activate it, that it would actually increase your metabolism and create more of your calories to burn faster. And we all have this gene, and it turns out that if you eat this berry, the berry activates the gene, and next thing you know, your fat burning machine kicks into action. And so that's what it is. What it is a secret gene that very few people, we've just discovered it. And in fact, Dr. Lowenstein from Massachusetts won the Nobel Prize about it. And he says we've had this gene forever. This is why we had it in our primitive times. This is what it did for us then. This is why we have it now. This is what it does for us now. And if we can only learn to activate it, we can actually we can actually lose weight faster. And guess what? The way we activate it is actually going to be very healthy for us. So, okay, now you've got the what people. Now they know what it is, they know the science behind it, the history behind it, they know what it's supposed to do and all that kind of stuff, and they know what the outcome is. So the outcome is you're going to lose 5 or 10 pounds if you can activate this gene, and if you eat the right food, you're going to do it, right? So that's the secret. And then you go into the how. So you say, well, you're probably asking yourself, well, how in the world do I activate this gene? Well, it turns out there are 3 things you need to do. So #1, you need to go into the gym, because it turns out that muscle mass actually activates the gene. So if you do just 5 minutes of weightlifting, and specifically if you do push-ups, sit-ups, and whatever else, I don't know, arm bars, that's enough in those 5 minutes to activate the gene. But you also need step 2. Step 2 is that very secret berry that I was telling you about that came from Japan. It happens to be in all your grocery stores now, and it's called the magic berry. And so you can go into your local shop. So go to your local grocery store, go to the organic food section, and ask for the magic berry. Buy 3 of them. 3 little they come in little packets of 4, and you want to buy 3 of those packets, and every 3 days you want to finish a packet. Every 4 hours you want to eat a berry for every second day until you finish. In 1 week you finish all 3 berries. And then the 4th thing is you want to eat more protein. So make sure chicken, fish, and meat is on your diet at least once a week. So Mondays eat fish, Wednesdays eat chicken, Fridays eat beef. If you put those 3 things together in that order, that's how you activate the gene that's going to make you lose the weight, right? And then the what if is, so just imagine what this will do for you if you put it into action. Like, what would happen? What would your life be like if you lost that 5 or 10 or 15 pounds? What if now, instead of walking into a room feeling self-conscious and noticing that everybody else seemed to have this glow of health on their face and this vigor and vitality, and you felt kind of self-conscious, and it made you a little awkward socially and a little afraid to reach out and meet new friends? But what if you took that berry? What if you implemented this system and suddenly you just found that your body naturally melted off those pounds, and you had all of the vim, vigor, and vitality that you had when you were 18 years old? Just imagine walking into work with an increased new confidence. You might even get a promotion. Just imagine how many more people are going to be attracted to you for your confidence, for your self-esteem, how much more influence you're going to have at work, how much more social you're going to be. And just imagine how you're going to feel about yourself. So what if you were to put this into action tomorrow? How would your life change? Right? And so you're kind of projecting them into the application of the system and projecting them into what's possible if they were to do it. So yeah, that's how I interpret the what if. What if you were to apply this now? And you might say also, what if you were to do this when you were at work? How would that change your life? Or what if you found a way to master this, and then you could, what if you wanted to teach this to other people, right? And so you're creating the imagination, you're creating the possibilities of all the things that they could do if they master the system. And a lot of it has to do with, for example, if you're helping people in an entrepreneurial way, which a lot of us tend to do here, then you're saying, what if you were to do this and all of a sudden you had 100 new clients? Right? What would happen to your business then? What if you were to implement this and all of a sudden your employees were way happier, productivity shot way up, right? What if you had this great idea about how you can package this and apply it in your market, resell it, and create a whole new business? Okay, so that's kind of the entrepreneurial visionary part of it. That's the part that says, how do I take this out in the world and apply it so that I can create some massive results? So now this again is a kind of a simplistic way to look at it, but it's a pretty good way to guide your thinking as you're following this model. Okay. Now, interestingly enough, this is a framework I recommend to a lot of my clients when they're doing sales webinars as well, because it's kind of like this. It says why you need to be here on the sales webinar. Well, I'm going to teach you a brand new system for generating leads, and that if you know that every 1,000 leads you add to your system adds $10,000 of income, I'm going to teach you a system that's going to make you $100,000 in the next 30 days. So be sure you sit and listen to this. What this system is, nobody else is using it. It's a brand new traffic source. I've got an arrangement with a company who used to do Google AdWords. That didn't work out, and then they went into banner ads. That didn't work out, and it turns out that as he was exploring all these options, he created his own system. He's helped all his friends do it, and now it works for everybody. Now it's a system that's available to you. And what it does is, automatically goes out and scans all of the databases and brings back a qualified set of names and addresses for you to follow up with. How it works, really easy. All you have to do is, go to eBay, go to Yahoo, go to this directory, that directory, and you can look up all the names. It turns out that these people who are advertising will actually give you their name and email addresses and ask you to contact them. So you don't need them to opt in. You don't need their permission to email. You don't have to worry about spam. All you have to do is go to the forums and go to the directories, pull out the names and email them. And by the way, so then you say, well, what if you were to implement this? Well, it would be really kind of cool, because you would now have a way to get 1,000 new leads every week, qualified, targeted, permission-based leads who are inviting you to contact them and tell them about your product. But what if you did implement that? Well, you'd have to learn the system, you'd have to hire outsourcers, you'd have to put a whole new system together. It would be a very manual process. You take a lot of time, and there are hundreds and hundreds of forums, directories, and places to advertise. So what if there were an easier way to do that? What if there was a piece of software that did that for you automatically? Well, guess what? That's what we invented. And so let me tell you about that. Right? See how it kind of naturally flows into the presentation of the product. So you educated them on the benefits for listening to the thing. You've taught them what it is and how it will work for them and the benefits it'll give them, how easy it is. When you tell people the history of how and your story of how you came to create this thing, that's part of the what. And that's really interesting. So you ever hear people do the conversion story, which is, yeah, I started in my basement too, and I didn't have two nickels to rub together, and I worked on the system, and I made $1 million, and then I showed my friends, and they made $1 million, and now I've got a system that I can sell to you. That whole thing is part of the what, and then you move into the how, and then the what if is, hey, what if you could do this? How would your life change? What if you had a way to do this easily, affordably, quickly? Well, guess what? That's what my product or service will do for you. Right? So it's actually not only a great way to create content, you create amazing articles and blog posts and workshops. I've created entire 30-day workshops based only on these 4 questions, on the structure. And I've also created sales letters and webinars based on the structure. So it's a really powerful thing for you to use as a guideline when you're creating content and you feel stuck. And if you answer these questions, you'll find not only that you're writing great content and creating great persuasive pieces, but you're also appealing to the majority of your audience and all the learning styles that they have. So very powerful thing. And if you have access to that recording that Jonathan's referring to in one of the other products, I think Evan refers to this as how to create products that sell themselves. There's a framework in there. So if you have any access to one of those recordings, by all means, check into this. This is one of the most powerful concepts that I've learned in the last 3 or 4 years, and highly recommend that you take it on too. Now, I also will say that if you want to learn, the detailed, specific, full model, then you can look up David Kolb, Learning Styles here, Experiential Learning Theory. You can look in Wikipedia, and there's another group of folks who are implementing this. Business Balls, that's interesting. Okay, so let's go here. All right, so there's the detailed definition of it. businessballs.com/kolblearningstyles.htm. And this is what I mean about how it's, a very academic and somewhat sophisticated model. And, they don't call it why, what, how, what, if. They call it, reflective, abstract, active, concrete. And then they have sub patterns, and then they have sub behaviors. So, if you really want to know how this works, then this is the place to look it up. But, if you just want to put it into action without needing this detailed application, think about why, what, how, what, if, and you'll be in great shape. Okay, Jonathan, I'm reading your messages here. Yeah, okay, so it's true that sometimes they will overlap, in fact, it's not, sometimes when I'm answering the what, I will kind of, overlap into the why or the how sometimes. That's perfectly okay. And, it's not a very clear-cut line. This is really just a guide to make sure that you're thinking about who your audience and how they might be, what they might most be interested in. Some people are most interested in the implementation. Some people are more interested in the strategic, which would be the what. And some people are more interested in, I don't really care what it does or how. I just want to know, how do I use it in my business to make money, right? So you have those learning styles, and it's okay if they overlap, or that the why and the what if kind of sounds the same. It's perfectly cool. Either way, you're going to, if they overlap, then you're just reaching 2 learning styles instead of 1, and that's okay. Okay, so I'm not seeing any more questions right now, but I'm seeing a couple of hands up, so I'm going to go to the live call and start with my good friend Nate. How are you, Nate?
Hey, Lou, how's it going?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Just picking up some notes I've been taking.
Excellent. Now, how can I help tonight? What's on your mind?
Well, I want to know how you can help me create a product. Give me an outline for creating a product, kind of like a summary, because I got an idea for a new product, got all the research done, emotional hot buttons, but I just need to put it together into video format.
Okay, so can you be a little bit more specific? Like, tell me where you're at, who the audience is. I mean, I don't know the emotional hot buttons, obviously, right? So, so tell me a little bit more about where you're at with it, like what stage of development you're at.
Well, I've been doing the last 4 months, doing niche consultations, one-on-one coaching, finding out people's fears or frustrations, and I found out that a lot of people are lacking in their social area of their life. So I'm creating a training program based on that. Now, I'm kind of thinking about testing it with the webinar-based sales letter. What do you think about that?
Oh, I love the idea. I do almost all my stuff through webinar-based sales letters.
You think that's a really fast way I can test an offer with the market niche?
Yeah, absolutely, I do. It's a whole lot easier than writing a 35-page long form sales letter.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you could probably do it. Probably take you as long to do it as it would to just think about it. Many times, you're looking at my outline for most of my webinars. This is where I start. Why, what, how, what if? Why should they be here? What's the outcome for them being here? And what do they need to know about this that's going to make them value and desire to want to do this? How do they start? what are the top 3, 5, 7 steps they need to get to, and then what do I have to offer that can change their lives. And so you're looking at my starting point for almost all my webinars.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I was thinking that writing a sales letter does really take forever. I'm good at it, but it takes forever.
Mm-hmm.
And so creating webinars, that's easy because it's just a PowerPoint slideshow, basically.
Yep, pretty much. And in fact, you could even just do a teleconference if you want to. But a webinar is nice if you have the if you have access to a Carefree to a GoToWebinar account or something.
And do you think that PPC would be a good form for driving traffic real quick?
Could be. I mean, it's certainly worth a try. Listen, by the way, I'm going to tell you this. You're talking to a guy who hates Google right now. So
yeah, why is that? Why is that?
Well, I don't want to get into it on the call right now, but if you're on my Facebook wall, you know why.
Okay.
But yeah, listen, I think pay-per-click is an awesome way to get things started. I would probably try whatever you can think of to drive traffic in a targeted way real quick. So if you can find banner ads that are running on highly targeted sites, if you can do a little bit of pay-per-click, if you can use Facebook, to highly target the demographics and the likes and interests and bring some people to your web page, to your webinar, even write a few articles, stuff like that. I like to test through paid advertising, and the reason for that is just because I can control a flow of traffic. If I do SEO, it could take 3 months, 6 months before something takes hold. So when I'm testing stuff, I actually prefer, to do Facebook advertising, PPC, banner ads, something that's gonna actually drive traffic quickly. I don't mind paying to find out if it's gonna work or not.
I'm with you on that. Now, for paying traffic, though, I've been reading there's a lot of policy changes on Google and Facebook and MSN, and they're really a lot more strict these days about landing pages.
Yep, that's absolutely true.
So I'm wondering about, if you know anything about, what the best practices are for landing pages now, if you think that it's best to have a mini content site or to just throw up straight a webinar registration page.
Mini content site. No question about it.
Okay.
If you're doing Google. If you're doing Facebook, there's a little bit more leeway. If you're doing MSN Ad Center and so on, a little bit more leeway. But if you're doing Google, it's got to be a thick site. They'll toss.
I'm thinking not Google because of that.
Yeah, I mean, the fastest way is to just get like an opt-in page and a webinar, like a two-page mini site. And for that, I think Facebook is still working. I drove a lot of traffic to an opt-in page for a webinar, and then the thank you page was the webinar presentation. Did very well with it, and it still seems to be okay as far as Facebook is concerned now.
Awesome.
You would never be able to run that on Google today. So, and it's quick and dirty. Then later, if you want to flesh it out and add a few more pages and make it more like a thick mini site / blog, then you can move it over to Google.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. Now, for webinar formats, do you think that the new cool thing of being able to choose the day and time and then come back later and watch as a live recording is better, or just straight opt-in and then the webinar on the next page immediately?
Well, I've been testing. Let me give you a link here. You can watch a webinar that I actually did on this subject recently. I think it's worth you watching, and I think the link is Presentation Domination, PRSNDOMN. In fact, you know what? That might have come down. I might have taken that down. But you know what I'll do after the call? I'm going to put up a page /ACC just for you guys. So I'll give you access to this presentation. So if you want to look at it, it's a presentation I did with Ryan Lee. Ryan Lee has a new thing called Presentation Domination, which is a service that does what you're talking about. And that's the one that I'm using right now. So I taught my folks about it, gave them a little bit of a training, walked through how it works, why it's better than just a replay, and all these kinds of things. So it's a good training. Ryan was on there, gave a lot of good information. And we did that during his launch. So we actually were running a promo. You don't have to worry about the promo. I mean, if you want to get in on it, that's fine. But the first 60 minutes of it is all content, and it's good. So this is kind of my perspective on it. In a nutshell, there is a lot of advantage to having people schedule the event rather than watching it. And so let me ask you this. if you have 50 emails in your inbox and they're saying, hey, watch this video online, hey, watch this video online, and you click over and you get access to the video. And then you get one email that says, hey, a webinar is playing tomorrow, Wednesday at 12 p.m. It's only playing once, so if you're really interested in the subject, mark your calendar and be there. What are you likely to do when you're trying to prioritize whether to watch the one that's scheduled for Wednesday at 12 or all of these other ones that are online all the time?
Exactly. I think there's something in the psychology of an event that
Totally.
makes it more compelling.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
You're right, yeah.
So I would give it a try. Ryan's system is not the only one that does that kind of thing. There's a whole group of people putting out services like this. But this is the one that I happen to be using, and I like it. Ryan's done a good job with it. People are asking me to make this bigger. Hold on.
Hey, is there a special way to access the visuals? Because it says webinar over.
It does?
When I try to access the visuals right now.
Is anybody else seeing that? It looks like everybody else is seeing the page. I've got it.
Okay.
I've got it coming in on my laptop as an attendee. I'm still seeing it. So.
Okay.
And Joe McNeil says it looks fine. Trevor says he's seeing it. Yeah, it might be just something on your end there, Nate. Yeah, so just watch the replay when it's up. But so by the way, the link that you're seeing on the screen isn't working right now live because I'm going to create it once we get off the call, because right now that presentation, I took it offline, right? So I'm going to create the special link just for you guys at Action Coaching Club to get access to it. So if you go there now, it's going to be broken because I haven't created it yet, but I will do it after the call. So by tomorrow, check back in tomorrow, it'll be up. Yeah, and so the key thing is exactly what you're saying. The thing about the event is people will mark it in their calendar. They know it's only happening for a specific period of time, and they feel like, well, all the other stuff I can get back to and watch later, and so they'll always prioritize the event, all other things being equal. So and this is important because if no matter how good your webinar is, if nobody watches it, it's not that good at all. And so the key thing is you want to get their attention and create urgency around the idea that they should be watching your webinar and not the myriad of other options that they have. And one of the things that works very effectively is the fact that they have to schedule it and they know that it's only on for a limited amount of time.
Is it necessary to actually say you can only watch this once, or because they can kind of watch it as many times as they want, really?
Yeah, I mean, it depends how you set it up, right? If they can watch it multiple times, then you shouldn't say that they can only watch it once. But it is possible that you set it up. You could set it up to play this Wednesday at 12, and your advertising could say only available this Wednesday at 12, and that's it. So now you're saying what you said you're going to do. Now, if you're going to run it every day at 12, then you can just say only available at certain times during the day. Go book your time and go watch it. But the important thing there is that they know that unless they actually get there during that period of time, they're not going to watch it. I mean, it's not like they can get online and click over to a web page and watch it at their convenience. They can't. They can only watch it when you show it. And that actually is almost as effective. Now, if you have a number of different webinars and different topics, and then each one can be, hey, I'm only showing this for 3 days, so go over and watch it. And I'll tell you, so from my perspective, I don't know if you've noticed this, I don't know if you're on my list or not, but what I used to do is I used to do these free webinars, and then I would put the replays online indefinitely. And I found that nobody would ever watch them, and if I didn't get them to the live call, that conversions on the replays were really low. So I was doing 80% of my conversions on the call, and maybe literally less than 10% on the replays. So ever since I've changed it around now. So what I do is I do the event, and I say, here's the deal. You can come to the live call, and if you come to the live call, I'll have something extra special because you made the effort to come to the live call. If you don't, it's going to be online for 72 hours. You can watch the replay, but after 72 hours, I'm taking it offline and putting it into my private group coaching members area, which is what I do, right? So number one, it adds a little exclusivity and a little bit more reason for people to want to be in my group coaching because, hey, they get access to all this stuff indefinitely whenever they want, and it's all good stuff. Number two, creates this the sense of urgency that says, I better watch this thing before it goes offline. And number three, it gives me a reason to write and follow up and say, hey, just wanted to let you know this thing's going offline in a couple days. Did you watch it yet? And then the next day, every time I do this, people get mad because it comes offline before they have a chance to see it. So if you haven't seen it yet, you might want to do that now. And then, the last day, okay, this is it. It's coming off tonight at midnight. So, and don't wait to the last minute, because if you can't, if you're halfway through and it stops, don't blame me, right? So it's kind of fun. I get a chance to sort of bug people to go watch it, and a lot of them appreciate it because they're like, oh, geez, thanks for reminding me. I've forgotten about it. And so now what's happened is I'm getting about 30% of the conversion happens, the sales happen from the live call, and 60-70% happen from the replay. And by the way, I'm not saying that the conversion on the live call is less. I'm getting the same conversion, but what's different is the replay is performing, it's converting, it's generating sales way more than it ever did. Why is that? Because people actually go over and watch it. And why do they watch it? Because it's only up for a limited time.
Yeah. Well, I guess that brings another point is, what do you do if they say they're going to attend the event and they don't attend to get them to come to the next one?
Well, I mean, they don't. I mean, you can only do so much, right? And then so they come to the next one. So what?
Do you recommend like having a sequence that notifies them that they missed it and so they can follow up again?
Well, if they're on your list, they'll get notified when the next event is, right? Or, I mean, you're going to be constantly promoting it for as long as it's up. So, yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Just you could do a follow-up that says I'm doing another one. But then the problem is, if you do that, then every time you change your scheduling on the webinar, you've got to go change all your autoresponders. So I prefer not to do that. If they miss it, they miss it. I give them 3 days of follow-up. I warn them to watch it or not, and if they don't, well, then whenever I promote it next time, they can decide whether they're going to watch it again or not.
Okay, where's that link where you talk with Ryan Lee at?
Okay, so I'm going to put it in the GoToWebinar control panel. It's showing on the screen, but you can't see it. So here it is for everybody: powerupcoaching.com/presentation-domination/ACC. I'll send it to everybody. Okay, so that should be in your GoToWebinar control panel now. What's my Facebook page? Someone's asking. I don't use my Facebook page a lot, but if you want to go over, let me put it over here. I will be using it more actually, because I don't know, it just seems like a good thing to do at this point. So if you want to reach me by Facebook, you can just go to powerupcoaching.com/Facebook and talk about something I never use, my Twitter account. If you happen to want to follow me there, it's powerupcoaching.com/Twitter. And Joe's saying, please add me to your list. I can't add you to my list, Trevor, because that would be a violation of terms of service for Aweber. However, if you go to powerupcoaching.com and go to the top right corner, you can add yourself to my list and confirm that you give me your permission to email. Okay, so thanks for asking. Okay, Joe, you got that link? Nate, you got that link?
powerupcoaching.com/presentation-domination/ACC.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a dash between presentation and domination?
Nope. Somebody
it says
sent.
Not found, error 404.
Yeah, I know, because I just made it up here on the call. I haven't put it online yet.
I gotcha.
And someone's saying they can't get to my Facebook page. Let me see.
I got on the Facebook. It came right up. Power Up Coaching.
Yeah. There it is. Yeah, it's coming up. So it's not a closed group. Oh, Shuling, you're looking at maybe the Facebook group. Yeah, that's a closed group for my clients only. But if you type in powerupcoaching.com/Facebook, it will take you to my page, and because there it is right there. And you do need to be logged in. Okay, Nate, anything else I can help you with right now?
Well, that's pretty much most of my what I was thinking. Main thing is, what do you really think? But in terms of this new automated live webinars versus product launches, is it like a replacement, or because a lot of people are shifting over to this now?
No, it's not a replacement. A product launch is a whole sequence of, event management and buzz buildup and, all that. So no, it's not a replacement, but a lot of people do product launches once in a while, once every month or 2 or 3, sometimes once every 6 months. Whereas with the perpetual webinar, you can do it 24/7 as often as you want. But it doesn't have the whole, build up to the event, open cart, close cart. It doesn't have that whole sequence in place. It's just basically an educational webinar with an offer at the end. So it doesn't have all of the, however, having said that, it doesn't have all of the build up over time, but if you do your webinar properly, then you'll put all of the influence elements in the webinar presentation, and it'll be, a fairly good, it should be fairly good converting process. So no, you're not going to, it won't replace one with the other for sure. You'll probably want to do both.
Okay. So if I wanted to get more information on this, should I just go to this link later when it's live?
Yep, then you can hear about the presentation and why we think it works and how you might implement it and stuff like that. And then if you want to jump onto Ryan's into Ryan's program, fine. If not, that's okay too. But the first 60 minutes is all about how to use these things to build your business and why you should use these things to build your business. Okay, so give a listen to it, and if you have any other questions, come on back. And also go back, oh gosh, I wish I could remember, maybe 1 or 2 sessions. Oh, it was the one when I did Facebook. I think I did a Facebook training recently. Go watch that, and about maybe 3/4 of the way through, I actually showed you a case study where I used this and showed you I think I was getting like 10 or 12.8% conversion or something like that.
Wow.
So I kind of walked through the whole model for you, and that'll give you an idea how you might implement it as well.
Inside the Action Coaching Club.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Appreciate the conversation, Lou.
My pleasure. Nice talking to you again, Nate.
I'll let you know how it worked out in a week or 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do.
Okay.
All right, my friend.
Take care.
Speak soon. Okay, I have somebody from San Mateo, area code 650. I'm opening your line. It looks like you have your hand up. Does Readbind Corporation ring a bell with anybody? If you're talking to me, you are on mute. And while you're looking around for that, what I'm going to do is, yeah, there it is. It's the most recent trading call, Nate, right there, and everybody else if you want. Facebook advertising. Towards the end, I actually walked through a case study that a quick sample that I tested that system with. Okay, Carla says, Lou, I'd love for you to see the updates to my site that you recommended if you have time. All right, let's have a look. Carla, if you're on the line, raise your hand. And just type in there for me real quick, Carla, what your area code is. Oh, and whoever's in area code 650, I just heard a thump, which means your mic is open now. Okay, now your hand is down. What I can't make out your, Carla, I cannot figure out what URL is here. I'm literally, here, I'm going to copy and paste it from what you typed in. Oh, I see. Relieve
Hi,
stress,
I'm
stop
Carla,
anxiety. Oh, I
and
got
I'm
it.
thrilled that
Okay.
you're here.
Carla, what area code are you in? Okay, gotcha. You're in Athens. Hey, Carla.
Hey, Lou. How are you?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Carla,
this
your site is looking great.
It's different, though. It's not about chronic pain. I had a laser coaching session with Evan, and he challenged me about, he wants me to test this and the chronic pain side by side, but this one's really exciting me a lot more, and feels a lot better.
Okay.
But basically, it's the same thing as what I was doing. So I've incorporated the changes that you mentioned, and one is on that page. If you scroll down, you had asked me to put in another opt-in place at the very bottom.
Yep.
Which I did.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing I did that you had asked of me was if you go to the About Carla Royal page, there you'll see I took off the on the right, I took off the opt-in box and put in the client feedback, and then if you scroll all the way down, I put in the Johnson box that you mentioned
Okay.
to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just basically want to know what you think things look like. I'd like to launch this right away. I listened to something you did with somebody. I've listened to so many things I can't keep up with when it was or who it was.
I
But
understand.
I've started actually posting on my Release Daily blog. I've got 3 posts. I'm gonna start posting every day now
Mm-hmm.
to get some content going and get the SEO thing happening. And I guess I just want to know, am I ready to sort of put this out there?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Carla, if you don't like it, you can always take it off, or if it doesn't work or whatever.
Right.
But absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah, go put it out there. It's great. It looks great, and maybe you'll end up tweaking this somehow a little bit, or maybe you'll find that there's a different kind of opt-in or a different way to put that offer for the free call, and that's fine. One of the best ways to know exactly how to optimize or what is working and what's not is to put it out there and have people come on. And when they come on, you can track their activity and it'll guide you as to where you need to focus to make some changes. So absolutely, it's looking great. You've got the opt-in. Visually, it's awesome. When they read about you is a great time to invite them into a conversation. And I would say even, maybe take this and put it onto its own page, so that what you can do is, as you're writing blog posts, at the end of the blog posts, you might actually say, okay, so you've got this great relieve the stress to improve your life. Like visually, I love this blog. It's really nice and clean, and colors are awesome. So really great. And so imagine at the end of this article, you can say, if you found this article, of value, and if you're experiencing stress and anxiety in your life, and you want a quick half an hour coaching or support session that's designed to immediately release most of your anxiety on a short-term basis, and share strategies with how you can do this in the long term, then click here to learn about my special, call it Stress Buster system or something like that. And then at the end of virtually all of your articles, you can invite people to talk to you, because you've just given them some great information, and then you can say, so, if this was valuable to you, and if you'd like a little bit more personal support, I have this thing that I do. It's a half hour long, and it, usually I find that it almost instantly relieves stress and anxiety. And at the very least, I'll be able to coach you on some of the actions you can take right now to gain some immediate relief, and then see if there's any other way I can help you. So now, if that's on a separate page, and you don't have to go through the whole About Carla Royal at that point, right? Because they may have seen this already, and you could take them straight to a page that. Now you're going to probably want to explain a little bit more about what goes on and what they get out of it and so on, but use this as a starting point, and put it on its own page. Put it on its own page and drive as many people to it as you can.
And do you recommend that this $97 value thing be a half hour, that I put in a half hour, and if it needs to go over?
Oh, whatever you think is appropriate. Some people do it in half hour, some in an hour. If it's a free session, I would probably do half hour to 45 minutes initially, but
okay.
But do what you think is actually going to serve your client.
And then if I can enroll them into more coaching, into a individual coaching or into a coaching group, can I can charge more than $97? I know that somewhere I heard that it was tested that $97 for coaching calls was like a good thing, was a good price to charge when you're first starting in a new niche or whatever. Is that accurate? Because I kind of want to charge more.
Well, this what you're doing here is you're just offering a free call, right? But
Right.
from the free call, you can offer anything that you want. And if your program is $500 an hour, then that's okay too. You know, whatever your program is. But the idea here is that you're going to give somebody some real value. And in fact, if your time, if I were to actually get support from you for an hour, what would your normal fee be?
Well, I mean, I would like to charge at least 150.
Okay, so then if
At
that's
this
what
point.
if that's what you're legitimately going to ask for your services, you can say this is a $150 value, right?
Okay.
Because 97, what the magic of 97 is, online this seems to be the level that most people don't think too much about making the purchase. It's almost like the impulse buy level. Above
I
that,
see.
they start kind of, trying to justify the purchase. But this seems to be, most people think of it as, a quick yes if they're interested in what you have. But see, that's not what you're really wanting to do here. What you really wanted to do here is you want to show them the value that they're getting for free. So if you would spend an hour with me for $150, then I'm really getting $150 value from this call. And so
Okay.
I would say $150 value, yours free if you act now, right? Because actually I got lost. I didn't see this right away, right? So I would even say, instead of for a limited time, you might even put it right up front, free stress relief strategy session, $150 value, free for a limited time. I mean, I don't even mind repeating the word free twice, but don't don't lose the fact that they're getting $150 value support for free.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should I put up on the sign up button, sign up free, or sign up now, or is that enough up at the top?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to want to build this out, right? So it's going to be a little bit more of a sales letter than just a couple of bullets, right? And
On my page.
yeah, on the standalone page,
Okay.
yeah. So, take a little bit more time to sort of say, hey, if you're experiencing stress and anxiety and it's manifesting this way in your life, and give a couple of examples and say, I get it. And in fact, if you went through it, you can also say, I went through it, I dealt with it, I know exactly how you're feeling. And then you can say, and sometimes people experience either acute or chronic stress and anxiety. And I really want to help you to eliminate and relieve that as quickly as possible. And so what I'd like to do is offer you support to do just that. And I'll give you an hour of my time for absolutely free, just so we can get to know each other and I can support you really well. And in that hour, what I'll do is I'll help you, understand your unique needs, share some time-tested strategies, customized just for you. But I think this is important here, to relieve and stress, to not only to take immediately, but to relieve stress and stop anxiety immediately. It's not, they don't want to take action immediately. They want to get rid of this immediately. So emphasize that. And the simple technique you can do right now, this is great to bring instant relief and happiness. And then say, normally when I support people on an ongoing basis, my clients are happy to pay $150 for this kind of support. But because you may not know me yet, because I haven't had a chance to support you, I want to offer this opportunity for you for free. So for limited time, I'm doing this with a certain, till I get my client roster packed or whatever else. While I have the time on my schedule, I'd like to offer this to you. If you're experiencing the stress and anxiety and want some strategies for instant relief, please take advantage of this. It is a real $150 offer, but you can have it free as my gift to support you to relieve your stress and anxiety. Just sign up right now. Just click here to sign up now.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay. And then just put it out there.
And just put it out there.
See what
Absolutely, absolutely. And you might even consider, when you're a little bit more comfortable with it, you might even consider running some Facebook ads and driving them to the blog. Now, don't do that just yet, because actually I think I have a couple of other strategies if you're going to run Facebook ads. But
Well, I've signed up for 2 days on a blog that has 35,000 readers.
good.
In June, in the middle of June, and one in July. So I will run 2 ads then.
Okay, great.
just
So
to see
so
what
when
happens.
so when you're running the ad, the way I like you to prepare for that is I'd like you to
Yeah.
have a really great video that teaches them one or two things that someone in the Action Coaching Club, can't remember his name right off the top of my head, but he helps people with meditation and stress relief and everything. And he's got this thing, I forget exactly what he calls it, but it's like instant calm in 3 breaths or something like this.
Oh.
And it's this great little video where he walks you through a simple breathing exercise. I actually went through it and found myself feeling like, I went from a state of like anxiety and stress to like total calm in 3 breaths. I thought, how cool is that? So if you can think of anything like that someone can do that will instantly help them
I
to
did.
relieve some of that, oh, beautiful. Then put that into a video and drive people to that to an opt-in page that says, I understand how you're feeling. And then describe the experience that they're having. So here's the why, what, how, what if, right? So if you're feeling stress and anxiety, and you're feeling anxious, and your body's tight all the time, you'd give anything just to release that and feel calm and peace and stress-free again. Then watch this video. This could be the most important video you ever watched. So sit tight. I'm going to give you the #1 tip for doing that. Now, if you're feeling stress and anxiety, and you find yourself unable to work, you can't concentrate, your attention scatters, you find yourself irritable and screaming at your kids and your loved ones, and you're finding that you can't sleep at night, and you just love to get rid of that, this is probably what's going on for you. And then sort of describe it, and then say, now here's a technique you can use to instantly release that. And then you could either do this, either give them the technique and then say, by the way, that was just one of 5 incredible techniques that you can use, and if you want the other ones, just opt in, right? And then your inside video becomes that. Or what you can do is you can tease them on the front page video and say, instead of telling them how, you can say, if you opt in now, what I'm going to do, you're going to see a video where I'm going to actually demonstrate this amazing technique, and I'm going to want you to follow right through with me on the video. And I promise you, if you do that, within 30 seconds or within 60 seconds, you're going to feel like a whole different person. So if you want that instant relief, go ahead and opt in and watch the video. Now, then when they watch the video, underneath the video, I would put in an offer that says, if you found this helpful and you want more direct support from me, sign up for my free session.
Okay.
Okay, so that would be a great funnel for you to try out.
Okay. Sounds like fun.
Got it?
I got it.
Beautiful.
All right.
You're doing great,
Thank you,
Carla.
Lynn.
Keep going. Yeah, and absolutely
really
get this
appreciate
online. Yeah, it's looking great. Congratulations.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your help. This is very helpful.
My pleasure. All right. Speak to you soon.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay. Oh, Sebastian, I didn't see your question. Okay, I'm gonna ask you, Sebastian, to come back on our next call. And oh, wait a minute, hold on. I think I can do this reasonably quickly. So the question is, my area deals with mental issues. How do I find the legal stuff to put on my landing page and auto emails? Also, will I need a business license? Okay, so I'm gonna instantly say I am no lawyer, and so what I'm about to say is not legal advice, and I'm not an accountant. So what I'm about to say is not business financial advice. So whether you need a business license or a license to practice in that field, you really have to defer to either a lawyer, tax lawyer, business lawyer in your state. Or, of course, if you're dealing with a mental issue, you're going to want to be sure that you're familiar with all the regulations that relate to that in terms of your state, because there very well may be some. And so you want to be absolutely sure that what you're allowed to say what you say. And then how do you get the legal stuff? Well, the legal stuff, there's, let me see if I can remember. A friend of mine, actually someone who was in my mastermind, is, what's her? Innoventum. There it is. Okay, if you look up innoventum.com, you will see a page that has, where does she put it now? Denise, wherefore art thou? Okay, let me try something else. Products. There's a thing called Biz Shield. There it is, right there. Okay. So what you want to do is head over to BizShield, and what you'll find is a whole bunch of things that might relate to what you're doing. There's non-compete, non-disclosure, intellectual property, and then privacy policy, terms of use, and I think there's also a terms of disclaimers in there, and you might want to look into this. There's information about the FTC ruling, which might apply to you as well in terms of making claims and how to protect yourself on that. And in fact, if I remember correctly, I did a webinar with Denise. Let me see if that would work. Let me try LouRecommends.com. No, that's going to go to this page, I think. Yeah, that's not what I want to show you. Yeah, I do have a webinar that I did with Denise where we talked through this, but I don't know where it is. So, you know, have a look at this. And then there's another one, I think it's called autoweblaw.com, if I remember correctly.
Let me ask you a few questions.
Okay. And this is another resource for, for legal documents for the internet. Yeah, this is a little bit more expensive. I think this is in the hundreds of dollars, but there's a lot of disclaimers, non-disclosure, trademarks, collaboration, all sorts of agreements in here that you can use. But, you know, I would recommend that when you find the one that looks closest to what you need, you know, have it reviewed by a lawyer, make sure that it's appropriate for your state and for your business. Okay, so those are probably the two resources I would say you could get started with in terms of the legal stuff. Now, none of those will address the mental issues other than they'll tell you about, you know, not to make claims and how to put disclaimers on your page. And so if you're going to talk about solutions to mental issues, or, you know, make claims that says, hey, I'm going to cure you of this mental issue, which you really can't anyway, but you'll use that the disclaimer document as a guideline to what you're allowed to say and not say. So unfortunately, I don't have a lot of expertise in this particular area, and these two places are going to be sources of documents, but the real experts are going to be, you know, if you spend $250, $300 with a good IP lawyer, with a good internet lawyer, a good business lawyer, you know, one of the above, they're going to be able to help you, especially if they have internet marketing experience, and have them review your site, have them review your documents. It's a one-time cost for $200, $300, $400. Well worth it if you're in one of these, you know, areas that are very carefully monitored and heavily regulated. Okay. All right. Sue Lin says, I've been wondering about the issue of appropriate legal framework, whether to use U.S. law or, in my case, Australian law. So once again, refer to a local lawyer, and they can guide you on that, because I have no clue about Australian law. Okay, and that's going to be it for tonight, folks. We've got most of the questions handled. And yep, and no more hands are up. Fantastic. All right, so let's call it a day. I think we covered a lot of ground tonight, actually, so that's been a very interesting, great call. Congratulations, guys. I'm really loving the progress that you're making and the action that you're taking. I really want to acknowledge you and congratulate you for doing that. You know, we call this the Action Coaching Club because we love to see you actually implementing the things that are in the training. I'm really happy and really proud for you. So keep rocking, okay? And as well, thanks for being here. Your being here allows me to do this work, which is real fun and fulfilling for me, and I appreciate you allowing that. So till we meet next week, have an awesome week, have a lot of fun, serve a lot of people, make a lot of money, and we'll see you in the next call. Thank you. Good night. Bye for now. Namaste.